Hello everyone, welcome back and thank you for joining me. I wanted to do a little review of By Kilian's Musk Oud. I'm going to continue doing the little Oud videos while I can. Well, until I'm done with all the Ouds that I have. I've since procured a few more, but I'm on my, this is more of a comparison video I suppose. Because of the small amount of talk that I've heard, it's been mostly comparisons between Eternal Oud and Musk Oud. And this is my second decant of Eternal Oud. I have had one other 10 mil. Now I have two 10 mils, and so I'd say I roughly have, I don't know, 15, 16 milliliters left. But, yeah, Lord have mercy. Still strong stuff. Still love it. Now, if any of you guys have, anyone watching this has viewed my last video on Eternal Oud, I believe I mentioned anyway, that Musk Oud receives the comparison in that, to Musk Oud in that it is apparently a toned down version that is a little bit more fresh. That is what I've been told, and I believe somebody left a comment on that video. I don't remember exactly who they were, the exact quote. It's been a little while since I've looked. But nevertheless, that comment and those points of view are pretty well founded. Eternal Oud is kind of like Musk Oud that's amped up, and for a more, it's certainly much more of a crowd pleaser from what I've gathered. Whereas with Eternal Oud, I know folks have smelled it, but not many people have ever said anything. I've received some minor compliments, but I think that when people smell Eternal Oud on me, they are kind of afraid to say anything, for whatever reason. That's the only thing I can think of. I've never heard anyone say that it was too strong or that it smelled bad, which is kind of shocking. Musk Oud, however, I have been told way more times than I would have thought that I smell good. My store manager even, he's complimented me on one other fragrance that I have, but my store manager, 3 separate occasions, I will come into work and he'll say, "Oh, you smell nice." And he always asks what I'm wearing, and I'll tell him, Musk Oud or, something like that, and he has no idea what I'm talking about. And he kind of shuts him up a little bit, but it's funny. He's a nice guy. But I even went a little step further. I took some sprays on the wrist and took it to work one evening, and there's a very nice girl that works over in one of our other departments. I don't work side by side with her ever, but we'll chat every now and then. And I walked up to her and I said, odd question, but I do small reviews here and there, and I would like to get a young woman's opinion on this. And I believe she's 19 or 20. I want to say she's 20. Did not expect her to like it, and she actually said, "Well, I could smell you when you walked up," and alarm bell went. I was like, "Was it too strong?" And she goes, "No, it's perfect. You've got the perfect amount on, and it smells really good." And I said, "Well, would you smell it up close a little?" And she goes, "Yeah." And she smelled my wrist right in here, and she said that it smelled very good. I said, I asked the normal questions: is it stinky, or do you get any weird kind of vibes from it, and or anything like that? And she said, "No, it's just nice. It's a little sweet, but it's pretty strong. But it's not like offensive or anything. It's really nice." And she, and even went so far as to say, "Well, does it smell girly at all?" Because I could see where an inexperienced nose might find this a little bit feminine, as opposed to many other hardcore masculine leather patchouli dirty fragrances. And no. So Musk Oud has received nothing but compliments, nothing but good reviews, good marks all across the board. Longevity, not as strong as Eternal Oud. Not as strong. But you pay probably, I don't know the math right off the top of my head, because I don't remember retail value for the box, the coffin, the bottle, and so on and so forth. But you're probably paying half, if not less than half, of as opposed to Eternal Oud. So for what you get, if you're into the ouds and you like By Kilian's, Musk Oud would probably receive my more recommended buy for your money. Now, the only other thing that I have really to say as far as price point goes, in comparison or in conjunction with the fragrance itself, it's going to come down to your personal taste. If you don't care about compliments, if you don't really care about money, or something like that, these two are close enough to still justify going with Musk Oud. But if you don't care about the first two things that I said, then Eternal Oud's going to be the way to go. It lasts longer, for one. The only downside is that it's so expensive, and you cannot buy refills. You have to buy a fresh coffin and bottle, and that's kind of stupid, if I'm perfectly honest, because Eternal Oud, granted, it already makes Kilian, I'm sure, a ungodly amount of money, but if he sold it in the refilled bottle like he does with Musk Oud and the rest of his line, Eternal Oud would win in my book. But because of that, Musk Oud wins this time, the lower end. And it has nothing to do with quality or anything like that. Whereas Eternal Oud may last on me about 36 hours. Musk Oud is about 18 to 24 hours, depending on the weather and what all I've done, what I've come into contact with, etc. It's potent. It's very, very lovely smelling, and just going to take a minute here and go through just a small spray. I have not worn it today. I've got Eternal Oud right here, but that won't interfere, so we're just going to go from the top here. Just one little spray. Let it dry a little bit here. And, it's funny. The oud in here, it's got the oud, it's got the rose. What from my experience, because I've worn MFK's Oud Silk Mood, it reminds me of the Bulgarian Rose in that, because Bulgarian Rose is apparently an Oud Silk Mood. Now, the rose in Musk Oud and MFK Oud Silk Mood, very similar. But it ends right there. And it's already taken a turn. It smells nice and dry, but it's got this almost inexplicable freshness to it. This is definitely more of like a safe man's oud. If somebody wants to dive into the oud fragrances, but stay safe, not want to take a chance on it being like, in your face craziness that your nose can't comprehend, start with Musk Oud. The biggest difference as far as scent goes between Eternal Oud and Musk Oud are going to be two things, in my opinion. Eternal Oud finishes very peppery. That saffron scent, I don't know, that's got to be it. The saffron changes Eternal Oud into something a bit more full-bodied, a bit more peppery. Peppery is the best word I can use. It's got this quality to it that's more full-bodied. It's not that thick sort of syrupy type of scent. It's just it's a lot stronger. It adds strength to it. Whereas Musk Oud is like its little brother. It's soft, fresh, still rosy, still oudy. You've got that odd sort of Band-Aid smell that, I don't smell that, but folks use that term, so that's what I'm going to say. It's medicinal. So you get that vibe from it. But for the strength, the projection, everything else, for the time that it matters, if you're wearing this out, both perform pretty much equally. The only time the performance changes is later down the line. We're talking 6 to 8 hours down the line. Eternal Oud's still going to be there, going strong, but the freshness of Musk Oud is going to tone it down a little bit. and it just doesn't stick around quite as heavily. Now, again, the freshness in Musk Oud has got to be what's garnering the compliments, because to smell them side by side at the top, there's not much difference. You have to sort of sit there and breathe through the notes. You know, folks that have really explored this type of thing have, usually have trained themselves to sit there and pull in a nice, very soft, long, deep draw through their nose and pick out notes as you go along. This is what I do anyway, and this is how I find the differences between fragrances from the same family, and works every time. I am super proud to own both of these. I will recommend both of them. I will recommend Musk Oud more because it garners more compliments, and because the price point is better because of the refill. Quality and strength-wise, like I said, Eternal Oud wins that battle. But it is just too expensive. So, get a split on it. Find some friends who are very into this type of thing, who want to explore, and split a bottle with them. It's going to be the smartest thing to do because of its intense strength. You won't go through it that fast, unless you just can't control yourself. But, that is about the most in-depth, without going overboard, I can go between these two fragrances. There's not a whole lot else to say. So, to recap, again, if you're interested in either one of these, Musk Oud has got a strange freshness. It feels very strange at first, but it settles into something that's beautiful. It's really, really lovely. It's not for the faint of heart, because it still is strong. It will last you for your entire workday, and it garners compliments. Both men and women have liked this. I would love to smell this on a woman. Perhaps one day I will be lucky enough to smell this on a woman, but not anytime soon. But it would work well either way. So yeah, if you're looking for a fresh take on an oud that isn't that quote-unquote barnyard oud scent, then By Kilian's Musk Oud is most certainly something to try out. I really think that you would enjoy it, even if it was one of your first ones. Give it a shot. It's worth it. I seriously doubt you'll be disappointed. And if you are, at least you'll have something to add to your collection. It would be fun for when you have a friend over, say, hey, check out this weird fragrance, And if worse comes to worse and you don't want to hold on to it, you can easily sell it. This stuff would be very easy to get off your hands. So, I've noticed a few new subscribers to some of my other videos, or from some of my other videos. I've got some really nice comments from another fellow viewer, and I really appreciate that. You know who you are if you see this. And to everybody else, thank you for watching, and I hope this was informative. And we'll see you again soon. Take care.